He's recording? There you go.
Yeah, somebody just called me. They were trying to get on. They've been calling me for the last 5 minutes, and I let it go to voicemail. I don't know who it was. They finally left the voicemail.
I hear you. All right, so let's go. Yeah, on the bottom of Pei Gimel Amud Beis. Yeah, Misha Nashcha Kelev Shaita. So if somebody gets bit by a Kelev Shaita, right? So that's also considered sakana. So we're gonna have a lot about the Kelev Shaita. So Tanarabana, Chamisha Dvarim never be Kelev Shaita. There's 5 things that are said by a Kelev Shaita. Pip Pasuach, his mouth is open. Beriroi Naitif, and it's dripping saliva. Baznav Sruchais, and its ears are messed up. Rashi says they're very large ears and they're folded over to the bottom. Uznavoi Munach al Yarkosov, and its tail, I guess is that with the phrase the tail between its legs? Yeah, man, I don't know, maybe, right? Umahalach Betzidei Drachim, and it goes on the sides of the road. It doesn't walk in the middle of the road. V'yeshayrim Af Noivach Noiveach Ve'ein Koile Nishma. It also barks, but it can't be heard. Yeah, so those are all the simanim of a kelev ra, a kelev shaita, and stay away from it. So mimai havi, how do you get a kelev shaita? Which is an interesting question. Mimai havi, right? How does a kelev become a shaita? I'm saying, does the Gemara ask this by other cases? Like how does a kelev? Where do you get a kelev shaita from? Okay, I don't understand it. So Rav Amar Nashim Kashponios Mesachkas boy. Right? So basically what happens is the machshefas, right? The like parrots calls them, the klaftas, right? So they mess around, they practice on the dogs, so it makes the dogs crazy. Shmuel Amar, right? Shmuel says, Ruach Ra Shaira. There's a Ruach Ra that's on it. My Beinayu, so what's the difference between them? Ike Beinayu. The difference is lemiktalei b'davar hanizrak, to the way how do you get rid of the dog, right? So you want to kill it with something that you throw, right? Meaning if you hold it to ruach ra, then don't go anywhere near it. You should throw something. You should shoot it with a gun or an arrow. Rashi says, or throw a knife, right? If it's just because it's meshuga because of the machshefas, so then there's nothing. You can go right up to it and kill it. There's nothing scary about it. Right? Yeah, fine. Tanya Kava said the Shmuel. We learned like Shmuel, right? That kishahargan isa, when you kill them, ain hargan isa ela b'davar andizrak, only kill it with something that you throw. The chayef b'mustachim, because it's anybody that scrapes against it is a sakana. The nachas lay. And if somebody gets bitten by it, Mayas will die. And the Chayef B'Mistakin, and if somebody, so then the Gemara, so either way, I'm sorry. So what the Gemara is saying, clearly it has to do with like Shmuel, that there's a Ruach Ra on it. And that's why you should stay away from it. So if you rub against it, Mistakin, right, my takante, what's a takana? Nishlach Mane V'nirhit. You should take off your clothing and run away. So basically, if somebody rubs up against a dog, that's a kelev shaita, so you take off your clothes and you run far away. I don't know if that means totally undressed. Right? Afuna Breder Vishua Chafpe Chad Minayu Beshuka. Right? Rav Huna Breder Vishua had one of these dogs rub against in the street. Shalchinu lamane v'ra'et, and he threw off all his clothing and he ran away. Amar kiyamti ba'atzmi, I was makayim on myself. Hachachma techaya ba'aleh. Right? A chachma will keep its owners. If you're smart, it will keep its owners going. Yeah, meaning because he knew the Gemara before, so therefore that's what allowed him to. Right? That's what allowed him to think. Yeah. So the nachas lamayis. So if he gets bit, He's going to die. So my takante, what's the takana? Amar Abaya. Again, these are like, where do we have these Gemaras? There's a few Gemaras in Shas where it has all these strange things. So Amar Abaya, Nesi.
We had it in Shabbos with Abaya's mother, what she used to do.
We definitely had some of that. Right, yeah, Taka, right, very good. I think we also had, we didn't have it in the Daf, but Gittin has some of these Gemaras. Okay, whatever it is. So, Naisi Moshcha Da'apa de Dichra, you bring the skin of some sort of male, I don't know what it is. Yeah. What's it called? The article says what does the article say? It's a polecat, whatever, I don't know. You take the skin of a polecat, whatever that is, and you write on it, Ana Planya bar Planisa, me, Pliny bar Pliny, you write your name and the mother's name. Emshecha da'apa dichra betivna Allah. Right? On the skin of this thing, of whatever this animal is, on this male animal, I'm writing to you. Kanti klirus, whatever that means. Va'amri lo kanti klirus. Yeah, ka Hashem tzavakos, amen selah. Yeah, okay. V'nashalchinu lemane, then you throw off your clothing. Ulakarinu beikivri, and you bury it in a beis hakvaros, in the cemetery. Ad tresa yarchishata, until for a year. V'nafkinu v'naklinu betanura, and then take them out and burn them in a oven. And then take the ashes and put it on the crossroads. And these 12 months, that whenever you drink water, only drink it through a straw that's made out of metal, copper. Because if you drink from the cup, then you're going to see a babua is a reflection of the shade, and then you're going to become a sakana. Okay, I don't know what all this means. Yeah, kiha da Abba Bar Marsa, who, right, like who Abba Bar Yumi. So it's Abba Marsa, who's Abba Bar Yumi. Of the lay, he made gupsa the tava, and his mother made him a gold straw, and then he got better. Ich weiß nicht. Take whatever you want out of that Gemara. Fine. Then another thing Ramasi said, yeah, so that if somebody has something wrong with his throat, then he could put this medicine into his throat on Shabbos, which we said wasn't a din of the Issa D'Rabbanan of medicine. It was it was an Issa D'Oraisa, either cutting down the grass or grinding, whatever it is. Fine. So the Gemara continues with this medical stuff. Rabbi Yochanan chash b'tzafidna. Rabbi Yochanan had some sort of tzafidna. Azal kabal dahima trunisa. Excuse me. So he went to this lady. Avdalei milsa chamisho ma'ale Shabbos. So she made him something she gave it to him on Thursday, and right chamisho b'Shabbos and ma'ale Shabbos and on erev Shabbos. Amar Allah b'Shabbos mai. He said to her, "What am I supposed to do on Shabbos? What's the medication on Shabbos?" Amralei light tzrichas. You don't need it. I mean, you're not going to need it on Shabbos. You're going to be better. Imat tzrichna. Right, if I am going to need it, so then what am I supposed to do? Amralei ishtavali deloy magat maglis. Swear to me that you're not going to tell anybody. You're not going to reveal to anybody what the issue is. Ishtava. No, the Kadi Yisrael, he said, I'm swearing to Hashem that I'm not going to be Megalit. Nofak. And then Darsha Pepika. So she told it to him. Then he went and he publicized it to everybody. Right, which is a shvera thing. He just swore to this Goyish lady that he's not going to reveal it, and he revealed it. So Gemara asks, but he swore. So he says, yeah, he made a shvua that he's not going to be Megala it to Hashem, but he's going to be Megala to everybody else. Right? It was a play on words. Anybody wants to know where Yidden sometimes get that they could whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
It's like the person who worshipped fire. Remember that?
The person who worshipped.
They asked him, remember he said that you agree that you worship fire? This was in one of these. It'll come to me. Never mind.
I don't know, but whatever it is, but he made a play on words.
I don't understand. It was a Chil Hashem either way.
Oh, so that's the Gemara's next kasha, right? The Gemara's next kasha.
There's a Chil Hashem. So yes, what's the Gemara answer?
Let's do that Gemara first. The Gemara says, "Vayika Chil Hashem." There's a Chil Hashem. Now, what does it mean by Chil Hashem? It doesn't sound like what we call Chil Hashem. Here, the Chil Hashem is that he swore falsely. He was mechal. It's not what we call Chil Hashem because the guy is not going to think highly, right? That's not. I mean, that's also an issue.
He swore that he won't reveal it to Hashem. He swore he didn't. The words were nothing wrong, but the guy took it.
But that's not the Gemara. So you're asking a different question than the Gemara is asking.
Yeah.
Okay, one sec. So the Gemara is asking this
He
Chil
tricked
Hashem.
her. He basically tricked her with words. So that's not
Correct.
That's not a yashristic.
Right.
That's a Chil Hashem.
And that could be the Chil Hashem. That's what I'm saying.
Why is it a Chil? It's not a Chil.
It could be. It's not yashris.
He's going to say. What is he going to save lives? If he has a chance of saving lives, he's going to say, "I'm Johnny Appleseed."
That's a different thing. Okay, but we're not. That's not the discussion if we're saving lives. We're discussing the Chil Hashem part.
Right. So, I don't know.
Why didn't they say Mashata Nilach? You're allowed to fool people sometimes for medical reasons.
So okay. So that. I mean, what's the Gemara's teretz? Vayika Chil Hashem. It's a Chil Hashem. So the Gemara answers the Megali La Meikara. That he's Megalit Meikara. He told her. He said, by the way, I pulled a scam. So
I pulled a fast one on you.
He pulled a fast one. Correct.
He
wasn't saying that. He was telling her that it's not a chil of the Shem because he swore that he's not giving it to Hashem.
So the guy says you're a crook. You're a liar. You're good for nothing. You playing with me and go fly kites. That's what.
Okay, but there's nothing to do. He already got the potion or whatever it's called.
Right. So you lied to me. Jews are liars. You're a bunch of liars.
Okay, but that's if you have you got to do what you.
I
don't know.
Why didn't you say that?
Why what? What are you saying, Rabbar? His internet is schwach. Let's finish up the Gemara. So Omer Rav Acha Brei Rav Ami, right?
It's a big thing.
Sorry, I skipped. Maya, 1 second. Maya of delay. What did she do to him? What she do for him? Omer Rav Acha Brei Rav Ami, right? So she said to him, "Mei Sa'ar Shemen Zayis Umelach." You take water from Sa'ar together with olive oil and salt, and you mix it all together. And I guess that heals. Rav Yemar Omar, Sa'or Gufei, you take actual yeast, Shemen Zayis Umelach. Rav Ashi Omar, Mishcha de Gatva de Avza. So you take the fat from the wings of a goose. Amar Abaya, Ana Avdi Lakulu, V'lo Yitzai. I did all of these eitzes and I never got better. Ad Amarli Ahutaya, until the traveler told me, I see Kashyasa Dezesa the Loimalu Tilsa. Bring olive pits, right? That didn't grow, that have not yet grown a third. The Kalinu Benura Imra Chadata, and burn it in a fire, right? On top of a new Imra, on top of a new tool, a gardening tool. Ba'adbik B'kavidari, and attach it to the take. Now, obviously, you take the ashes and then you put it on your teeth. Avdi Hachi Vitzai, and then I got better. Yeah, fine. So that's what he did. That's what he did. But that's different than what this lady said. So Havi, where does it come from? It comes from eating very hot wheat and from the leftovers of that kasad harsina. Right? That's the fried fish with the oil and all that stuff. See money, and what's the symptoms, right? What's the symptom that you have this problem? So kadrami midi b'kache v'asa dama mi beidari. when he puts something in his teeth and blood comes out. Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, so now getting back to the Schil Hashem, I forgot what I saw today about not remembering that something about that she Ba'atzim knew the reason why she didn't have tainas on him is because he didn't make any money off of it. He meant well. Meaning he didn't, if he would have sworn and he scammed her and now he was taking it to make money, so then that's the thing. But he did it for free. He gave it to people for free. So Mamela, it's not she wasn't so upset, even though she lost business from it. Okay.
They bring down from the Gemara Yishalmi that's the way they learn it up.
So I must have seen something from that.
They bring down the Gemara Yishalmi says that she was so impressed by it, she became Jewish.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Because
so
he did it to not make money.
I heard she became a Jewish lawyer.
Maybe that after.
Yerushalmi also brings down Amaram that she committed suicide.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
So what are you gonna do? You can't machavek with the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi.
No, it brings down both. The Yerushalmi brings down different ways they learn it up.
I saw Stolz. I saw what you put. You picked the second shot.
Listen, like I said, you can't win them all. You're gonna get angry at one shot. I'll give you
win
a
some,
shot.
you lose some. Correct. Okay, let's see. Right. Rabbi Yochanan ki chosh betzafidna avar hachi b'shabsa ve'itzi. Right. So, Rabbi Yochanan, when he had this thing, yeah, avar hachi b'shabsa ve'itzi. He did this on Shabbos and he was healed. Rabbi Yochanan hechi avar hachi. Right? How could Rabbi Yochanan do this? Meaning it's also midaraisa. It's unless it was sakonas the fashos, it's not mechal Shabbos. Or Rachmar Yitzchok Shani Tzafidna Hayol Maska Bepev Gomer B'nei Ma'im. No, Tzafidna is a problem because it starts in the mouth and then it ends up in the stomach. So therefore, it's considered it's considered a sakana, right? So that's the same thing. What?
Is this an Eked Amri?
Why?
Or he got it a second time? The first Gemara was Rabbi Yochanan.
Right.
He didn't get it on Shabbos. Now he did?
I don't know. The first one I thought, I don't know. He must have got it. Excuse me. He must have gotten it twice. Why he had a relapse? Yeah. Anyway, so the reason why Rebbe did it because it starts in the mouth, it could end up in an internal thing, which is also the reason why any eye infection, right? The Gemara says anything with the eyes could end up also internal. That's why we matter refuah for anything that has to do with the eyes on Shabbos.
Yeah, but there's a problem with retinal detachment. That's one of these shilas for
right.
Savior. Moving right along anyway. But the heter is, unless you know for sure it's retinal detachment, you should treat it as at least savik pikuach nefesh. And if you go into a hospital, it's preferable that the doctor's name is not Cohen. And that's a heter that people give because you don't know as a layman, you don't know that that's all it is. You think, and the other heter, as they say, going blind is a sakanas nefesh, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, good. So let's see. Amalei Rafia Barav Rabbi Yochanan Kaman. Who is he going like? Ramasya ben Chorosh. To Omar, Achoshish bepiv matin lo sam b'Shabbos. Somebody's choshish for his mouth, and they give him the sam on Shabbos. Yeah. So Omar Lei said back to him, Shani Yomer bezu v'loy ba'acheres. Right. He says, no, I do go with the roiv, right? Because Rav Masi Mimi Rav Simcharish is in our Mishnah. As he says it's only for this and not in anything else. Meaning is with dog bites, right? They only chaylik on him by dog bites, right? In the Mishnah we had a machlokes whether you could use that liver, that lobe of the liver, right? That was the machlokes between Rav Masi Bacharash and the Rabbanan. But by tzvidna, even the Rabbanon agree that this refuah will help. Fine. So let's say a proof, because Mishach so Yarkan, somebody who has what do you call Yarkan? We get it. It's what do you call it? What do you say?
Jaundice.
Jaundice, the high bilirubin, right? So machilin oiseh basar chamar, you give him basar chamar, even though it's treif. Mishanashul kelav shaita. If a kelav shaita bites, machilin oiseh mechatzar kavod shelo, you give him from the chatzar kavod, from the liver. Somebody has something wrong with the mouth. You put medicine into his mouth on Shabbos. They don't have any refuah here at all. What was Be'elu coming to exclude? My love lemute sam. Isn't it coming to exclude the sam? Right? The no loy lemute makizin dam le srunchi. Right, it comes to exclude being bloodletting for srunchi, which is also some sort of some throat disease. Right, so meaning the other ones, they Rabbanan agree, they only disagree with the throat. So we say yes, that's a svara, right? That the chachamim are moida to what was his name again? Ramasya. Right, the Tanya Shloisha Dvarim. There's three things. Amar Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Shisham Mishum Ramasi ben Chorosh. There's three things Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi said he heard from Ramasi ben Chorosh. Makizin dam the srunchi b'Shabbos. You're allowed to do bloodletting for this srunchi on Shabbos. Umishin ashol kelev shaita machilin oisem mechatzar kavod shaloi. And if a kelev shaita bites you, so you give him from the chatzar kavod. V'achayishish b'piv matin loisam b'Shabbos. And somebody who is got something wrong with his mouth, you put the medicine in on Shabbos. None of these have refuah. What does it come to exclude? My love, atarti basraisa ulamute deresha. Is it coming to exclude the last two cases, right? For pain in the mouth, right? But not the first case. So we say lo atarti deresha. It's coming to exclude the first two, right? For this throat thing and for the dog bite. I'm sorry, lo yatarti dereisha kamaisa, and ulamute the seifa, and it's coming to exclude the last one. Okay, so we're just going back and forth exactly which healings that Chacham disagree with Rav Chamsa, which ones they do agree with. Okay, on to Amud Beis. Tashima, the Gemara continues this. The Tani Rabba Bar Shmuel, Ubra Shericha. If you have a pregnant woman that smells food like we had 2 days ago, Machilin Sa'ad. You feed her until she calms down. With this one and not with another one. So what's it going with this? Meaning this healing, yes, and the other one's not. If you say that it's going on the pregnant woman, pshita. Who says, is there a shita that says that a pregnant woman who wants food that we don't feed her? You can't be disagreeing with that one. It must be going on the sam, right? So Shema Mina. So we see from this that the Chachamim and Ramasi ben Charash agree, right, and that the sam is okay on Shabbos. Rav Ashi Amar, and this is another raya. Rav Ashi Amar, Masnisa Nami Taker, the Mishnah is also meduik like that. If you for the mouth, you put in the sam on Shabbos, and the Rabbanon don't disagree. Right? They don't say, it doesn't say anything about them disagreeing. And if you say that the Rabbanon disagree, why don't you just mix the cases? Right? Because Ramasi Bar Charash says two things in the Mishnah. Why don't you just mix them together? Have the legal Rabbanon b'seifa, and then just the Rabbanon say they disagree. Shema, we know that the reason why the Mishnah splits up the cases because the Mishnah first wants to bring where Ramasi Bar Charash's case that the Chachamim disagree, and then they bring the other case where they would agree.
Okay. Enoch has a story. He would have told it to you if he was here tonight. When he was a teenager, he had a problem with his teeth, and either Reb Feivel called the Camp Morris or Reb Chaim Kinowitz one of the big Heimblin is called the camp for him with his, he had a tooth problem on Shabbos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very easy. Take it. Yes. Okay. So how long would he have this?
This is
When
when he
he was
was 50 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
He had a problem with an infection, whatever. They said he has to go to the dentist on Shabbos or to the hospital. And one of them called the cab.
Yeah. Yeah, hello. Okay, sorry. Let's see. So that's the Agadata part of the Gemara. Yeah. So now we get back to the okay. Maybe Suffolk Nefashas. Who is the Suffolk Nefashas? Yeah. Yeah. And any Suffolk Nefashas is Daicha Shabbos. So Gemara says Lamali Sula Member V'Chol Suffolk Nefashas Daicha Shabbos. Why does the Mishnah have to say it again? Right? Why do you have to say V'Chol Suffolk Nefashas Daicha Shabbos? So Rav Yehuda says b'shem Rav, Loi Suffolk Shabbos Zu B'Vad Amru, right? It's not only if he's Mesupik on this Shabbos, Ela Filu Suffolk Shabbos Acheres, even if it's a Suffolk Shabbos Acheres, right? Meaning, let's say you save him now, but you may have to also save him in a week from now. Meaning you're gonna have to be doing Pekuach Nefesh for 8 days.
What does it mean practically?
What does it mean practically?
Yeah.
So meaning he's going to still be in the sakana for 8 days. Yeah.
That means he's in the sakana the first.
So the way Rashi says, he's not going to die this Shabbos. He's okay this Shabbos. The Shaila is next Shabbos. Right? Meaning if you're not going to say this Shabbos, he's going to be okay. But if you don't save him this Shabbos, there's a possibility he's not going to live to the next Shabbos. So should you save him or should you wait till after Shabbos? Lamais, he's going to live this Shabbos. He's going to live this Shabbos. So maybe you shouldn't save him.
It's a suffix or it's for sure?
It seems if it's for suffix, then there's no Shiloh, then you save him. Has to be, I don't know how they know for sure, but they know for sure. It seems like he's not in the suffix.
They're not sure he's going to live this Shabbos, but they don't know for sure what's going to be next week.
Correct, exactly. So therefore, you still do it.
Does that make sense to you?
What?
Does that make sense to you?
I why not? I'm saying he's got some sort of disease where maybe the expected lifespan is a week, right? But maybe if you save him today, so maybe you can maybe if you start the saving today, so maybe you could what do you call it? Maybe you could save him. Hey, let's see. Hey, if you're going to Amdullah Timnai Yomi, they evaluate, right, that he needs 8 days of medicine, let's say. The Yom Kama Shabbos, and the first day is Shabbos. No, the same Eliyakiv Ad Lord to push it off until tonight, meaning till after Shabbos. And like you don't, so maybe you won't be Machal Shabbos for 2 Shabbos. And Kamash Malon teaches us that no, you're going to be Machal Shabbos now, because we don't play around with this stuff, and you do it now. The practical Tanya, let's just see. No, let's hold off on that. The practical of this, I think, what is you have somebody who has a regimen, right? What do you call it? Antibiotics. So most antibiotics is 10 days, right? So he's already 8 days into it. Can he take? Can he take it on Shabbos? Refu on Shabbos is also. This is not the same case because this is not Pekuach Nefesh. It's just a matter of Issa Refu on Shabbos, right? Yeah. So Lamaisa, there are many poskim that say that you're allowed to continue the regimen because that's the way it has to go. You don't play around with the stuff. Not all poskim agree though. Some poskim say no.
Somebody who's on blood pressure medication, he skips it for a day. Let him skip it Shabbos.
No, that avadi you have to. That you have to take. You can't skip that.
Tzviakov, even if it's going to set you back.
Some place can say, yeah, even if you're fine now, then who says that you're gonna have to? Who says that you have to take it now? You
The
take a
doctor
day
says.
off.
The doctor says.
What?
The doctor says you have to take it.
The doctor says you have to take it. Good, but if you miss a day, we're masupik. You're not sure what's gonna happen.
That's
right?
why you ask the doctor.
No, but I understand that. But most of the doctors will tell you that the reason, as far as I know, that the reason why you got to take the full regimen is because then it may come back.
So that's why you have to listen to the doctor. What's wrong with that?
Correct, but that might not be enough of a reason to take it on Shabbos. That's all. I'm just saying.
What's going to come back? I don't understand.
Let's say strep throat. Let's say.
You're changing the subject. I take blood pressure medicine every day.
No, Avada, that you have to take. That's without a doubt. But that's not a regimen. We're talking about a 10-day regimen, right? The Gemara here is talking about an 8-day regimen, right? So the Gemara is saying maybe you shouldn't. Why start it on Shabbos and be Mechal Shabbos twice? Do it after Shabbos, right? So they're saying the same thing with somebody who's supposed to take antibiotics on a Shabbos. He's supposed to start taking on a Shabbos. Should he maybe wait till Motzei Shabbos? Like this, he only has to be Mechal one Shabbos. That's one case. The other case is Stam on a 10-day regimen. Should you take, once you know you're healed, so you're healed, you're just taking it to make sure that it doesn't have a relapse, right? So, okay, whatever it is, those are the shadows that come up.
But Rav Neuwirth, I heard personally Rav Neuwirth say that Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach also was makil because tablets today and pills, we don't create samamim. I mean, you get them, you pop it in your mouth. So that's another reason to be mati. But I think it's a chiddush to try to doubt the doctor's prescription.
No, you're not doubting the doctor. No, the doctor. It's not. We don't doubt doctors. That we already learned yesterday's stuff. You're not doubting the doctors. But the doctors themselves say, yeah, if you take it, if you miss one day, you'll finish it up after. I mean, meaning it's not a clear thing. Yeah, so that's what it's saying. Okay, so let's see about the Tanya Nami Hochi. Tanya Nami Hochi, I learned another right. So mechamen chamen lechayla b'Shabbos, right? So you could heat up hot water for a chayla on Shabbos. Bein lashkoisa, bein lahavroisa, whether it's to give him to drink, whether it's to lahavroisa, means just to make him feel better. Beloy Shabbos u'bavad amru, not only at this Shabbos, el Shabbos acheres, even if it's just going to be made die on the next Shabbos. We don't say, let's wait, maybe he's going to become better. Meanwhile, like Rashi says, without any treatment. You heat it up him right away. Not only if it's a suffix on this Shabbos, even if it's a suffix on the next Shabbos. Right, this is a famous Gemara. Right, and we pass them like this. And you do not use a guy, you use a yid. And you don't do it with goyim. With kusim, which is a machlokes whether they're goyim. You do it with Gedolah Yisrael. Who's the one that's supposed to be Mechal? Shabbos, the Rav or the Gedolim. The bigger the Gadol, the better. Right? Now here's that was this next part is a little bit hard to understand. And we don't say do these things not with women, not on the mouths of women, and not on the mouths of kusim. But we will use the woman's knowledge for das acheres. So basically, what the Gemara here says is that you do not value a woman's opinion in the pikuach nefesh situation, even though the Gemara
tells you that you have to go to the hospital on Shabbos. You shouldn't. It's not loud enough.
If for who?
A nurse in camp.
A nurse in this Gemara, seeming the way Rashi understands it.
You can't.
There's others that disagree, but the way Rashi understands it, yeah, you do not trust the woman, and you don't trust the guy either, right? But okay, all this stuff changes nowadays. With a guy, for sure, it changes because lawsuits both help and don't help. Lawsuits help because if you because the guy is not just going to shoot his mouth open and say whatever he wants because he could be sued. On the other hand, the fear of lawsuits is what a lot of times will tell the doctor, will cause the doctor to send you to the hospital because he doesn't want to be sued if something goes wrong if he doesn't. So lawsuits, mamish, change the whole thing, right? But Lamaisa, we don't really trust Goyish doctors necessarily when it comes to these type of things, except some place can say if they put it in writing, then we would trust them.
So if a Goyish doctor says you have to do surgery today, we don't trust him?
We do trust him. But it's really not Pasha. From this Gemara is Mashra that we do not. We do not trust him.
I have.
Rav Yaakov, I don't want to sound chutzpahdik, but how are we learning, transposing these halachas not 1400 years after the Gemara, when Gemara was sending guys to people to do bloodlet all the time?
Right.
And women nowadays are trained. They're mumchim.
Correct.
You know?
What about
Plus
women?
now
Jewish
everything
doctors?
is in writing because of documentation.
Siaka, what about
Correct. So that
Jewish
helps.
women doctors?
And well, I'm just saying.
Why are you asking that, Aaron? Why are you asking such a question?
Yeah, kasha, good kasha.
Yeah.
I have with my leg. The doctor wanted to operate on Yom Tov. I asked him if he could wait till after Yom Tov for Abdullah. I just had a feeling. I don't know. He said, "Yeah." It was Sakalos Nefashis. He saved my life, but waiting an extra 3 hours didn't bother him.
Yeah,
But he wanted to do an immediate surgery.
I hear. Okay, I'm saying you have to ask, but
I'm not asking to be politically correct. I'm asking you what we paskin halacha to it.
we do not paskin like this nowadays. That women are not. Well, first of all, we don't buy. It's Rashi's shita. The Rosh disagrees.
Yeah, but
The
you
Rosh
have the letter over there on the top, you know?
What?
You have the letter over there. You have bays. There's a bays over there.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a different. Which letter are you talking about? The Kusiyim? Because the Gra says, some say Ketanim, right? But we also said that by women. The Gemara doesn't say it, but the Shulchan Aruch says that women, you trust women even if they're not doctors when it comes to women's health issues, like a woman giving birth. If the other women say that this lady is in a sakana, she needs to eat on Yom Kippur, so we go with what women say.
No, I'm asking you, in a camp, you have a nurse, and she says, "Call Atzala." So are we?
We do, yes, we do.
Why?
Yes.
Why? According to this Gemara.
According to the way Rashi understands the Gemara, because others disagree with this. Others disagree with Rashi's Mahalach. It's a whole complicated way how to learn it, but the others, other Rishonim disagree with Rashi's Mahalach in this. Yeah, but Lamaisa we do it, but the Gemara does say start from the Das Acheres. We will use them as a tziruf. We will use them as a tziruf. Yeah. Okay, so let's see weiter. So Tana Rabbanan, b'fakhin pikuach nefesh b'Shabbos, you do pikuach, meaning b'fakhin, you get involved with pikuach nefesh on Shabbos. V'azor as a reason b'shubach. The faster the way you are is the more praise. V'ein tzarich lito b'shus mipezin. You don't have to go run and ask a shayla. Right? Okay, tzad. Ra tinik shenafal yam. You see a baby fall into the water or a child. Pirish mitzuda maleyu. You spread out a net and you bring it up. The Hazar is a reason Meshubach, and whoever does this is Meshubach. You don't have to take permission from Bezdin. And even if you end up catching fish with the net, you threw the net into the water to catch the baby. You end up with some fish, right? And that's it's a daraisa. So still you right? So you still, that's no problem. You take matters into your own hands. You don't ask a shayla. Right? No, but I don't know if it's mischaven. You're putting it in there to catch things.
Catch the baby, not the fish.
What?
2 for 1. It's a 2 for 1. You don't mind getting the fish. You like to have the fish.
Yeah, but the pashta says you're right. It's animaschaven. What was the right? It's animaschaven. So what's the problem? Yeah. But But I think that's one of the terutzim that you would say.
What?
Yeah.
That what?
That Lamaisa, it's he wanted to trap. He's happy to trap fish. What's a guy doing with a netting by the water anyways? I mean, that's what he does. He traps fish. So even some say that even if his kavanah is to catch the kid and trap the fish, that's okay. That's what the Gemara means, right? Yeah, fine. That's case number one. Ra tinok shenafel lebar. You see a baby that falls into a bar. Oiker chulya. So you can dig up the chulias, is the parts of the walls of the pit. Remove it. And whoever's a zar is mishuk, you don't have to take reshus from bezin. Afagav the besakin darga, even though lemaisa you're making a step in order to get in and out of the bar. Yeah, fine. If you see that a door is locked in front of a child, you break the door and you can take the baby out. And you don't have to take reshus from bezin. Somebody just asked the Shaila in camp. He was trying to wake up some of the staff for Shabbos morning, and he broke down the door. He wants to know if he's mechayev to pay for it. So he didn't think the door was that cheap. So I don't know if that's exactly this case, but it's almost. Right. So anyways, you break down the door. So even though you're gonna break the door into pieces, right? And you're gonna use that wood, those little pieces of wood, for whatever it is that you need. So but still that's no problem, even though it's your kavanah to do both, and you're very happy breaking down the door, still you do it. Yeah, you also can extinguish, right, or block the fire from going on Shabbos. And even though you end up smoothing out the coals, and now you have yourself a nice campfire, but if you did it today, you don't want it to spread, then that's okay. So what do we need all these cases for? But you need all the cases. Because maybe if you don't quickly put the trap into the water, this baby may get washed away. But the bar, the kid is in the bar. He's in the bottom of the bar. So maybe you could sit there, Amaloi. So maybe you would say not, and you should go ask a shaila first. So tzricha, so that's why you need that case. That even when he fell into a bar, you still don't go ask a shaila. V'yashmin bar, and if you say bar, maybe in what's in a bar because he's scared, he's stuck in a hole by himself. But if he's locked behind the door, right? Maybe he can sit on the other side of the door, and he can play with nuts, and he can entertain him basically until you find a way to get the door open. So tzricha, so therefore you needs that case to tell you that also you don't go asking for permission. You just do it. Yeah, fine. Somebody wanted to say something?
No, I was asking Amara's question. That's fine.
Okay. So let's just do a little bit more. So you're allowed to stop the fire. So lamali, right? Why do you need to say this? So therefore, the Gemara is saying that even if you're just doing it in order to stop it from going from this chutzner to another chutzner, then that's also okay. Right? Rashi says that in the neighboring yard, there's a chayla or katanim that won't be able to run away, so you're allowed to do this. Yeah.
Why?
What are you saying?
Why is that a chiddush? I shouldn't be able to save someone else's kid?
No, but it's prevention.
Yeah. It's going to save his kid. He's not going to get killed in the fire. It's going to save the neighbor's kid.
You don't know.
So it's suffix sakanas nefashis. What's the difference?
No. You got everybody out of this house.
Yeah.
You got everybody out of this house. In the neighbor's house, right? You don't know if it's going to spread there.
So why talk about it?
It says there are. Rashi says there are.
What?
Nefashis b'chatzer acheres v'heim chaylim meikatanim.
in the chotzer acheres.
Yeah.
Right.
There
So they
are
won't
people
be.
there.
Yes, there are in the chotzer acheres are people there, but you don't know if it's going to spread to that chotzer.
Oh, that's what you don't.
Yeah, you don't know if it's going to. This chotzer, you got everybody out. The neighboring chotzer, they won't be able to get out because they're cholim or ketanim.
I mean, if I was a fire engineer and I knew where it was going to go exactly, then I would have a different shiloh.
Correct.
So why you not allowed to do it?
Because on the suffix sakona, it's a suffix. It's a suffix. You're not going to be able to get them out, and it's a suffix. So since it's a suffix, we're going to get it. We're gonna let it out. We're going to put it out, which is exactly the way we paskin nowadays. Right? What's the din meikar din if somebody's house is burning down and everybody's out of the house? What's the halacha? You got to let your house burn. You can't even ask a guy to put it out, which is a different kasha why that is. But the bottom line is that's the halacha. But nowadays that our houses are so close together, so it's a sakana. It's a sakana that it can spread. Some parts can even say that it could spread through. It could spread through the wires. That we're afraid that it can go through the wires, which I never heard of, but that's what it seems like they say. Right, so it goes through the wires.
Or an electrical fire?
I always assumed it means an electrical fire. Okay, so Amar Rav Yosef Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel Loi Halchu b'pikuach nefesh achar haroiv. You don't go basa roiv by b'pikuach nefesh. Meaning, normally you pass him with the roiv. So, but let's say the roiv tells you it's not b'pikuach nefesh, and the miyat tells you it is b'pikuach nefesh. You go with the minority. Hey Chidami, what's the case? Ine medika Tishra Yisrael v'kusi echad beinayu. Let's say we're talking about where a building collapsed. Right, again, unfortunately in Yonah Yoma, right? So you have a building collapse, then there's 9 Yidden and 1 Goy. So Ruba Yisrael, no, that's Roiv Yisrael. Of course you're going to go be Michal Shabbos. Ella, Palgo. So it must maybe it's talking about a case of 50%. So Safek Nefashas Lahako, that's a Safek Nefashas Lahako. Ella Dika Tisha Kusim Yisrael Echad must be talking about where there's 9 Goyim and 1 Yid, you're still Michal Shabbos, just for that 1 Yid. So it says, Hanami Pshita, Tavale Kavua, right? And we know this is heavy Taruvas, right? But we know, like, again, the classic example is you have 10 stores, you have 10 meat stores, 9 treif, 1 kosher. If you bought a piece of meat and you forgot which store you bought it from, right? Or somebody bought a piece of meat and they say, I forget which store I bought it from. 90% chance that it's from the treif and it's 1% chance it's from the kosher. So since the suffix started in the place that's set, meaning the suffix started in the store, therefore it's considered 50-50 and and you're not allowed to eat it, right? But if you found a piece of meat in the street, right, and we don't know which store it came from, so then that's called parish. That's called the shaila started not in the stores, and then you go bust the majority. So we're saying here, these people lived in this house in a building, right? So they lived in the building. They were at home. So therefore, we look at every suffix as if it's 50-50. If it's 50-50, then what's the chiddush that you save because the yidden? We look at it as 50-50. Even if it's 90% goyim, we look at it as 50-50. Right? Again, Hanami Pshita, it's also Pashat, Avalei Kavua, B'chol Kavua, K'mertzal Mertzadami. Kavua, we look at it like 50-50. So when it says, Leitzricha, the Parish L'Chatzer Acher, it's talking about where they went to visit another Chatzer. This is not where they lived, right? They lived in the neighboring house and they went over to visit the neighbor, which is called Parish. So you would think you go with the majority. The same are called the Parish, Miruba Parish, whatever got separated from the majority, and the majority are Goyim. So it teaches us no, but Bikuach Nefesh, we don't go with the Roiv. Right? Yeah. So let's see. To any, it's not true. If you have 9 goyim and 1 yid in that chotzer, you clear out the rocks. But if it's in a different chotzer, then then we're not mefakechin. So my answer. So you see that you do go with the majority. It says like kasha had the parish kulu, had the parish mikzasayu. One is talking about where most of the people moved and they went to the other chutzner, and one is talking about where only a small amount did. Right. So when only a small amount left. Right. So then therefore we're going to go with we're going to go with the right because we have no idea if there was ever any yid in there. But if it wasn't like that, then we're gonna enochanami. We're gonna look at it mechza, and we're not gonna be machman. Okay, well this Gemara continues, but we'll stop over here. All right. Okay. Good night, everybody. Okay,
Tiago.
Yeah.
The last case. Why is the Gemara? I think I one time asked you this before. Why is the Gemara asking on Shmuel from Rabbi Yom Rabbi Yochanan? Is it a brisa that Rabbi Yochanan is quoting?
What are you saying?
Why is the Gemara asking on Shmuel from Rabbi Yom Rabbi Yochanan?
Why is it asking for Rabbi Yochanan? I mean, because it's Amaroyim.
Yeah. So if he still wants to reconcile both of them to make sure they're not chaylik with each other, fine. But like,
right.
This is the funny thing. Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan are never chaylik.
Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan, sure they're chaylik, no?
So very nice. So Rabbi Yochanan has a different sheet, unless the Gemara Stam wants to reconcile the two sheetas. But
I thought it was in general. We try not to make machlekes in the court of fascists. Makes things more complicated. He said a klal in the court of fascists. Mashwan delay hopefully we talk about after we do.
Right. You're saying as long as there's an Amoira out there, that's what you're going to say?
Who? No, I'm saying that in general, the whole and Medina de Gemara, there are very, very few machlekes in the Koch of Fashists. The one we had in our Mishnahs, one of the only ones I know of. Medina de Gemara, whether you can do something that's in a case of Suffolk we Koch of Fashists. The only machlekes we have is in whether if it's not clear if a treatment's a good treatment. Then you have a machlekes. But in the klalim of pikuach nefashis, there's no real machlekes.
I hear. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I mean, is that really going to play a role?
That's why you'd ask from one Amir to another. It's a good kasha. Otherwise, he has what Akiva is saying, in any other Gemara would be a pashta kasha. Akiva's kasha.
Right.
It's possible everything's clear. It's possible that the Gemara had Shmuel sheet in general, and the Gemara wanted to, to sort of create a caveat to it and say that it's not true in all cases. I mean, the Gemara, the Gemara is saying it's not always true. It's only when you know for certain that the person was part of that ride, that the meal was part of the ride.
That's question answered.
Huh?
Yeah.
Could be the Gemara wanted to minimize this.
It's a way of clarifying. You say it's just a way of clarifying.
Right,
what
a way of
Shmuel
clarifying that Shmuel sheet is not always true because it's a tremendous finish.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be over on Shabbos.
Yeah, although the answer is not clear 100%. But yeah.
The answer is saying that they all have to move together. And if we know they all moved, then you can go ahead and clear. But if you only know some of them moved, you can't clear.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know if he's in that place then. It's like a svek sveikel l'chumra.
It's a particular problem though, because in Pikuach Nefesh and Shabbos we don't go with. What do we say with svek sveika? We're machmer.
I think so. No.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right here. All right, I got to run now.
I know Ribiat is, but I don't know. Yeah.
Right here. All right.
Yeah. All right, Yeshikayach.
Okay, sei gesund.
All
Guten Abend. Bye-bye.